Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So, it took a while to get to this one, but we have the update for the MB4 Pro Plus EU version. And I wanted to give FLYSKY a bit of time on this because there's definitely going to be some controversy over this one. It's a does add a load of features, but then we also lose a whole bunch of the model memories, which were touted as one of the big upgrades for the MB4 Plus and the Pro Plus. So with this one, we drop in from 25, which was a welcome upgrade, although it weren't big, it were 5 extra. We're dropping down to 18. The team of engineers are basically saying that the MB4 Pro Plus just doesn't have enough memory to add all these new features, so they're aiming to reduce the amount of model memories. But yeah, let's bring in for a close-up let's bring you in for a close-up look and take you through what you need to do this, and then show you what the changelog is and discuss what we can do about the model memories and that. But yeah, let's bring you in for a close-up look, see how we get on with this one. So for this one, we're going to need a preferably Windows-based, although you can use a Mac, but you'll have to use Assistant for everything. So Windows-based PC if you've got it. One of these little Windows handheld sort of gaming systems works absolutely fantastic for it. Then we're going to need a transmitter. Now, just to make my job easier, I'm going to clip off the base and I'm going to clip on the USB-C base from soarsky. Basically just lets me get this more in shot for you because the USB comes out front. Also very good if you're wanting to play simulators and that. But please use the FLYSKY USB-C cable, or at least a very high quality one. And let's see if I can get all this in shot for you. So let's get focused on our little screen and show you what you need. So for this, I will leave the links in the description below, but you're going to want to go to FLYSKY's website. We're going to click on products, scroll down, click surface, then we're going to go for the Pro Plus. Once you're on here, you want to go to the downloads and upgrades. Then if we scroll down, we see we've got the 1.023 EU, standard and FCC. And we've also got the EN version, so this will be the same whether you're going for the American version or the European. Standard, as always, standard TX power and slightly longer battery life. FCC, slightly less battery life because it's using a higher TX power, should give you slightly longer range. Realistically, there's not a deal in it. If we scroll down, we've got the release notes. So if we have a quick look at this. So we have added startup feature, added channel lock feature, added voice broadcast feature. We've got added lamp feature, so that's for the controlling of the new, let's see if I got it, that one, the INR 8D. Basically, 8-channel receiver, built-in light controller, absolutely cracking piece of kit. So nice, we've got support for that. Added support for the telemetry adapter, so that's the Hobbywing telemetry adapter, which I love the idea of it. The implementation seems a bit hit and miss between FLYSKY and Hobbywing. Not really sure who's at fault, but seems that I've had really weird sort of issues with Hobbywing speed controllers and their own programmers. I'm guessing the issue lies more with Hobbywing needing to sort of get to grips with what's happening. Don't know if any of you have been watching my channel with the Hobbywing new LCD programmer. That's kind of hit and miss on all their speed controllers. So there's definitely something that's slightly funky, and I'm guessing the telemetry adapter uses the exact same protocol. So maybe we'll see some things sort of settle down as Hobbywing's firmware gets updated. But that'd be interesting to know. Is an interesting device. We've also got added interface protocols, so iBus2 in, SBus in, to support the redundancy feature on the receivers. Certainly something that I'd be looking into if I were doing speed runs with lots of range, lots of speed. redundancy on a receiver, definitely something that's interesting. Modified stick calibration, adding midpoint calibration value. Modified conditions, adding 2 additional condition groups with endpoint adjust, subtrim and throttle. So that's now available as parameters to set. Modified sensor features, so we've got alarm vibration settings, modified speed and distance to add gear ratio settings, and motor magnetic pole feature. So certainly something interesting to look into. Added options for signal strength, signal redundancy. Again, it's going to be something if you're running multiple receivers as a redundancy feature. Modified RX set, so under RX bind we've now got multiple functions for one RX, dual RX or multi RX. Under bind set interface, the type of modulation, so normal or to sort of go more for anti-interference. Certainly if you're getting interference in that, might be an option for you to look at. It's nice to see we're getting all these changes. Added one-click functions to apply a current model's control settings to other models. Modified the TR left and right to default to brake dual rate, and modified the default for TR1 left and right to default to steering dual rate. Interesting. Modified auto power off function with customizable timing options. Modified the throttle start function to allow signing of a control to activate and deactivate the throttle start timer function. Modified auxiliary function by adding flywheel, mechanical brake, headlights, spotlights and retractor. Modified failsafe function, one of the options changed from free to no output, does make more sense. Modified low power mode to function remain disabled during two-way communication. Modified select model to reduce the number of models from 25 to 18. Optimized other issues for user experience. It does explain in here, don't make a backup on the old version of Assistant because the backups aren't compatible, but you do need to back all your models up. Run stick calibration after it's done, and don't forget to rebind to your receivers. There's quite a lot changed on here, and I do get it. Not sure how much the reducing models from 25 to 18 is going to affect people. Realistically, I've not met anybody that's got more than like 5 or 6 models on one of these transmitters, but if you're like me, I've got lots, not necessarily that need to be on it, but it's just convenient really. But yeah, that's the big differences. So what we're going to do, we've got on mine, if you want to find out what version you've got, you can click on here, click system, scroll all the way down and then about, and you can see on mine it's an EU, it's on 1.0.11 standard. So for me, I'm going to download the standard firmware, and you want the standard EU. If you're on the EN version, you can either go standard or FCC. If you want longer, more transmission power, you can go for the FCC one, but I'm just going to download the standard, and it's the EU one. So we're going to click download, then I'm going to go to my desktop. On my desktop I've got an Assistant folder. In here I have all my transmitters, so we've got an MB4 Pro Plus. I'm going to save the firmware update to there. If you need to download Assistant, you can scroll to the bottom and you've got Assistant for Windows and Mac. So we've got both versions on the latest. So we can then come down here. If you want to check what you've downloaded, I go to my Assistant folder, my Pro Plus, and then in here we can see what we've downloaded. I tend to keep the old updates now in here in case you want to roll back, so you can keep all the older versions. We've got the one we've just downloaded, which is 1023-4. We've got a backup we've made of the model memories. Now it does tell you don't use an older one, so I'm going to delete that. Then we're going to open Assistant. You'll see your transmitter just blink quickly. So I'm going to go to online device. I'm going to go to export. load models. Now this is where we can see we've got a whole bunch on this page, and then if we click across we've got the remainder. I'm going to click to back up all of them. Then I'm going to click export. I'm going to go to my desktop, assistant folder. I'm going to go down to my Pro Plus folder and I'm going to click save. And like I always say on this, I don't want to go through too much and skip this. So if you want to skip forward in video, I like to show this in real time so people can see just how long it is taking to do the actual backup. Just so people don't get worried if theirs is taking a long time. The reduction in model memories, for me, I would say that the Pro Plus should have had more memory. It's a £500 transmitter, and for me it should have had a bigger memory chip or an SD card. Hopefully that's something we'll see in future versions. I know it's been a bugbear on FlySky transmitters, the PL18. If you're going to use that on Edge, you need to install a bigger memory chip. They're dirt cheap and really easy to swap. I've not looked into whether it's doable on the Pro Plus, but it's not really sort of going to be useful. But yeah, it is a shame that for the extra money it didn't come with more memory. In grand scheme of things, the memory chips are ridiculously cheap, but yeah, it is what it is. We're going to lose from 25 down to 18 on his memory slots. Most people, I don't think it's going to bother, but there's definitely going to be a few people out there that's not happy about it. And if you had 20 plus RCs on your transmitter, it's then going to be, you're going to have to look which ones you want at any one time, and you're going to have to use Assistant to swap the model memories over. In reality, it don't really take long if you just swap in a few. I'm trying to back all 25 slots up here, and to be honest, it's only taking a couple of minutes. It's not a big bugbear. If you're only swapping the odd 1 or 2 out, or 5, it's even quicker. Would be nice if we could do this from mobile. That'd be a really nice thing if we could just connect via mobile and do it. Would be really, really useful. And we're currently sat at 96%, so we should be done in a moment. Let's see if we can make it a bit easier to see these screens. See if that works. So, once we got it backed up, you should be able to go here and click Firmware Update and click Update. For me, it's not available in here, and I would highly advise don't do it through this. It takes way too long, and the longer it takes doing these updates, the more chance you've got of bricking your transmitter. So we can close FlySky Assistant, and then we can go to his folder. We can see we've got his new backup. We've got the firmware update that we downloaded. So what we're going to want to do now is go onto his transmitter, go to System. We're going to scroll all the way down. Then we get to Firmware Update. We're going to click on that and click Yes. You're going to wait for Windows to detect that it's actually connected again. Then we're going to open the update software. You'll see your transmitter detected and what version it's on. We can just click Update and it'll start updating. If your transmitter don't update, the chances are you've forgot to put it into update mode. It'll still show here. It'll just say fail and it won't do it. Again, for this, I like to not try and skip it. Try and keep it in real time. It doesn't really take that long on doing it with this, just in case you're following at home. And we're now at 40%. It's already erasing Flash, programming Flash. I really wish Assistant would use the same way of interfacing as the firmware updater does, because it is like pretty quick on this. If you try and do this through Assistant, I've seen it take upwards of 20 minutes, and the longer it takes, the more chance you've got of some power cut, something disconnecting, somebody knocking transmitter over and pulling wire out and bricking your transmitter. Incidentally, they're very, very, very difficult to actually fully brick a FLYSKY transmitter. They do have DFU mode on them, so it does mean you can just restore them. Is a little bit technical, but it is doable, and I've restored plenty of them. Just when I've been just experimenting, trying test firmware out and things like that. Which is why I advise people, please don't use Assistant to do the update. It's just too slow, and if it crashes, it's going to put your transmitter into like a semi-brick mode, and then you've got to mess around messaging me to try and get your transmitter working. Using the actual software updaters, up to yet, bearing in mind I've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 FLYSKY transmitters, no 12, and I am constantly going back and forth with firmware and that, and I have not yet had a firmware updater program break any of the transmitters at all. Which is impressive when you think of how many versions of firmware and how many of these videos I've done, yet alone the number of test firmwares I've tried for FLYSKY, when we've been trying to find bugs and fixes. But yeah, the actual firmware updater, we're now at 64%, it's programming Flash, and as I say, I've never had one of these brick any of the transmitters at all. Now, Assistant, I've even had it brick a transmitter, the original G7P, because mine were on test firmware. It bricked that. It was a bug with the test firmware, but that was Assistant, I believe. And I know I had a number of people contact me with that same issue on G7P in early days. But yeah, the firmware updater is definitely my preferred way of doing it. As I say, do appreciate all these new functions. Yeah, a little bummed out that we're losing model memories on such an expensive transmitter. I definitely think it was a bad choice on FLYSKY's part. Not the actual features or updating the features, because I know a lot of people, although some of these features are quite niche, they are features that people have been asking for. But yeah, just a shame that we didn't get more memory in the Pro Plus. It really wouldn't have cost that much more for the bigger memory chip. But we are now at 81%, and I think it gets to around 90, low 90s, and then jumps usually to 100. But as I say, I don't like to skip this bit in case anybody's following at home, so you get a good idea of how long it actually takes in real time. And you can always skip through video. Now at 90%, verifying Flash, 93. Yeah, it got to 94, and then it jumps.
Welcome to Noble Pro Plus.
So you should see transmitter restart, and it'll reappear in here, although it's not in update mode. Does say it's updated to 1023, so we can come off that. We can minimize that. On a screen it says failsafe, do you want to set it? So we can click no. You can actually stop it doing that. So now we're going to have to go back in Assistant. So we're going to have to go onto his device. We're going to have to go to import memory. Then we're going to go on mine back to his desktop, and then Assistant folder, down to his Pro Plus. Click on our models to import. Now for this, you're not just going to be able to import them all, because we've got less memories now. If you try and import them all, it'll tell you they don't fit. So that's showing you what we've got. So model list wise, we only go up to 18. So we can't select all and get all of these back on. Now for me, on my Pro, I tend to use it for racing. So I'm going to want my race ones on. So if we look down, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, down to the TTO2 carbon, 11, 12, 13, so we can go 14, 15, 16, and then that's what I'm working on. So 17, stick SCX24 on, we can do that. So if we click add, you can see we've got them all down to advanced. If we want to reshuffle them, we can do. On here you can click on them and move them up and down, do whatever you like, and then when you're happy just click OK. That'll send them back to transmitter, and it really is as simple as loading up a system and just swapping them in and out. You've got them all backed up, so you can just overwrite certain ones. We do have the annoying alarms back on, so we'll have to go through and set the alarms and everything, so they've all been changed. I'm not sure how much of that saves with the backups of the model memories. Ultimately, would be really convenient if we can do this to them from a mobile phone. That's certainly an option that would then, it kind of makes it irrelevant how many models you've got on the actual transmitter, because you're only going to take so many out with you at any one time. If you've got a portable computer like this or a laptop, it literally takes seconds to swap in and out memories, bearing in mind it's doing it this quick and I'm doing all 18. If you're just swapping out 1 or 2, it's also a lot quicker. But yeah, it's a bit of a pain, bit annoying that we're losing model memories, but mine is a bit of an excessive sort of scenario, and to be totally honest, there's not really much that I didn't copy over to it that I'd need to. And a lot of them RC, a lot of the race cars, I'm still not currently using. I just thought, keep all the race cars on the Pro Plus and then use the MB4 Plus for the non-race ones, or the ones that don't need 18 channels. But that's got its transmitter updated. I would go into the transmitter, go into your settings. Now you can turn failsafe warnings off if you don't want them on. We've got stick calibration, which I would definitely run. So this should have now changed a little. Where you've got the throttle midpoint, does tell you your last calibration. So once you've done that, you can back out.
Calibration successful.
And that should be the firmware update all done. So when we go to binders cars, We've got different RX bind modes. Got different priorities. So as interface protocols, we've now got iBus 2 in and iBus in. We've also got the lamp functionality. So yeah, quite a few things that we've got different. Depends on what you use, on what's going to be actually useful for you. But yeah, that's the update. 1.0.23 for the EU version and the EN version. The EU version, it took them a lot longer, apparently because the other languages in it. So language, we have English and Dutch. So not sure why it took all that much longer just for one other language. So there we have it, the MB4 Pro Plus. We've now only got 18 model memories, but a whole bunch of other functions. And it does all seem to work. So let's wrap this one up. So there we have it, the MB4 Pro Plus on 1023 for both the EU and EN versions now. Cracking transmitter, really glad FlySky is still doing updates for this. Nice that we've got the lamp mode and everything on it. Only slight drawback I would say is going from 25 down to 18 model memories. You need to be aware of that, but I've shown you how to work around it, and it is quite easy to swap in and swap out. Would like to see being able to do it from a mobile app, but if you've got a little laptop, little Windows handheld, anything like that, or a Mac, it is quite easy to just swap model memories on these things, and ultimately you're going to know which RCs you're taking out with you when you're going, and are you really ever going to take out more than 18 in one go. It's a lot to have on a transmitter, but yeah, it is what it is. Sound off in comments below what your opinions are of it. Should FlySky add more features and sacrifice model memory slots, or would you rather not have the new features and stay on older firmware? But yeah, entirely up to you guys. Thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.